So I believe we are live, but I'm going to check just on my
yes,
phone.
It's coming up on my screen as live.
Just to make sure everyone can see us live on LinkedIn and on Facebook as well. I hope everyone is great, and happy Friday, everyone, if you are watching us live or in the replay. And welcome. Yes, it's working, and on LinkedIn as well. Great. So hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the BeLegendary Fireside Chats. And this time you will notice that it's a bit different because usually my guests are women, but I've decided that Paul would be a great inspiration for all of us. I met Paul, I think Paul was about 2 years, 1 year and a half, maybe, in the program we did together. It was a program to teach us Bob Proctor's concepts in terms of mindset and manifestation. So that's where I met Paul. It's been a while. And I'm so inspired by Paul's history, what he has accomplished over his life, and the transformation is amazing. So welcome, Paul, to the BeLegendary Fireside Chats. And thank you for joining us.
Carla, thank you. So lovely. And so lovely to be the first male. So that's an honor, even though my feminine side might come out, but it is an honor. Thank you for the invite as well. So appreciate that.
You are welcome, and it's lovely to have you with us. So welcome.
I've got a cup of coffee, so hope that's okay as well.
Well, yes, I have one as well.
Awesome.
So I'm a coffee fan. I love coffee. This is my second today already, big one. So if you are joining us live or on the replay, welcome. If you have any questions for me or Paul, please write them in the comments. We won't reply live, but we will go back to you for sure after the event. So Paul, I would like to start by asking you, it might be a strange question, but what it is a live manifesting coach?
Okay, great question. And sometimes initially at the start, I had to kind of define it myself as a niche, because there are life coaches and life coaches dealing with people's problems and issues like that. And it's absolutely fine. And I can do that. But it's not something that I'm really like the passion. The passion is for you to create. So when people are dealing with things, there's something fundamentally underneath that they want to express. And a lot of the times it's a matter of, someone would not be interested. It's not going to be any good. I'll fail. But the thing in manifesting is we have these faculties within our mind. And by using these faculties and using them, and they're simple things, but they're not easy. Okay, but we do have them. And by using them, we can create a life that works to your design. So, we listen to the news, we hear all this stuff, and then it impacts our life, and we I'll stay in the job, or I'll do this and I'll stay here. Well, actually, manifesting is about what is it you're up for, and it isn't necessarily, Carla, the materialistic things. If you think about it, you get the extension on the house, and 6 months later you're back to where you were. It's not it. The new car, but that's not it. The new watch, and that's not it. So for me, the manifesting was about what is it you want. So my clients really are confidence, self-belief, raising their self-esteem, and they're like, that's the things that's really allowing them to go forward in their life to create a business or create a relationship. So things like that instead of manifesting, and that inspires me. And it's when my intuition and my body just vibrate. So I just knew that being a manifesting coach, even though it's a little bit woo-woo, absolutely. And I took it, and certainly woo-woo even for a man as well. A lot of my peers are like, oh, but it gives you so much, and it gives me so much, and that's why I love it. I'm so passionate about it.
You mentioned about faculties that we have that we don't use. Can you give us an example of one of them?
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, one of the big one, a huge one, it's what I work with my clients with is perception. So,
Okay.
we have life. So, how life happens, it's occurring to us moment by moment by moment. And we believe it's the truth. So, we might have a perfect example, someone you fall, a colleague in work that you have this fallout with because here's what this person done, here's what this person said, and it's the truth. And there's this barrier as one example. But if you go to ask the other person, so what happened? And the other person says, oh, here's what happened. Really? That's not what the other person said. Well, how could it possibly be any other way? So then there's that person's truth. So when you get the two people together and you're like, so what happened? So there is what happened, but then there's our interpretation of what happened. And that's all it is. It's the interpretation
Yeah.
of what happened. And if we take that interpretation and just turn it and change the perception of the interpretation, it opens up a completely different occurring. So there was like, oh, I thought you didn't love me anymore. Or I thought I've always loved you. It's just that I'm dealing with something. Oh, and the perception is huge. And it's simply changing how the world occurs to you in the very moment. And that's huge. It makes a massive difference in life. And that's just the one. We have six of them, six faculties.
Yeah. And when we were talking about, you were mentioning perception, I was just thinking about communication, right?
Mhm.
Because it's the fact that sometimes we, as you mentioned, we accept those things as the truth and we keep it for ourselves. We create our perceptions and we don't communicate. Do you believe communication is something that people really need to start to think about, how they communicate with others? And communicating is not, it's not only talking, right? It's listening as well.
That is such a great question. It really is a great question. And I've got something for you with that. When someone is upset, so remember, we've got the perception and the
Yeah.
person's upset. So that upset will only ever come from three areas. And play with this. So the first area is undelivered communication. So you never got to say what's there for you, and you
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to say something, but you don't. So you get upset. The
Mm-hmm.
second thing then is a thwarted intention. So you intend for something to happen, and it just didn't happen the way that you wanted it to happen. It just didn't materialize, and we're upset again. The mother-in-law was supposed to come round for Christmas dinner, and it didn't happen. You're so excited, and you're upset because the person couldn't make it. And the third thing then is a failed expectation. So you expected, so you didn't communicate what you wanted from the person, but you expected the person to kind of read your mind, but they obviously failed to do that. And then
Yeah.
you're upset because the person didn't meet that expectation. And then you're upset. So whenever we're there saying to the person, okay, can you be here for 2 o'clock? Is there anything stopping you to be here from 2 o'clock? No, great. If you're going to be late or if you're not going to talk, can you give me ample notice? Absolutely. So we set the intention, everything else, and then you're right. Communication isn't just about you and I right now inside this
Yeah.
dialogue. Communication is greater from where you're standing from and where you want to go to and what you need from that person as well, and being authentically honest with
Yeah.
yourself. So instead of pretending, and lots of people who maybe will be watching this are pretending that life is okay, and it's okay not to be okay,
Yeah.
and letting people
It's
know
okay
that
not to be okay.
I'm not in a great place right now. And even as a life manifesting coach, I have days like that, but I have the tools to get myself out quicker.
And that's actually something good that leads me to my next question, is that it hasn't always been like this, and you have been through a fascinating journey. Can you tell us a bit more? Because you told me about some issues you had in terms of addictions. Can you share a bit more about your journey with us?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so from my accent, you can tell I'm from Belfast, but I was born in North Belfast. So I was actually born when the Troubles, the infamous Troubles started, and I was born in the heart of the Troubles. And I was born to an alcoholic father. There was domestic violence. Mum took the boys, 4 boys, away from the house when I was 7. But being in Belfast, I was traumatized because I witnessed things that ultimately a young child should not. And that had a massive impact on my psyche, my body. So I went to bed until I was 12 years of age. Going into secondary school, the first year of secondary school, I was still wetting the bed. At 13, I started gambling. At 16, I got the addiction of gambling. And that was my go-to place to kind of stop the noise in my head. At 18 years of age, then I'd lost my body hair through alopecia, so the body just simply couldn't deal with stress. I got a job at 16, which helped fund the gambling, but I started, and then just for getting that job, it was just about survival, Carla, and that went on. But I had no kind of direction. Mum obviously taking the boys with her. We stayed with our granny, our grandmother, for about 3 years. And it was just about survival for her too. And I really do get that now. But there was no guidance in life. And so as I became an adult, I still had all of the trauma, all of the stories, all of the things going on. No matter how much I tried to change, no matter how, it just, nothing happened. In fact, I was still doing the same behaviors. Um, and then I dabbled with drugs for a period of time. Well, not hard drugs, soft drugs, doesn't matter. And then I was in the same job, same kind of job for 29 years because I was too afraid to step outside. I was in a cage. I was in that little, the old hamster analogy,
Yeah.
and I was that hamster going round the wheel. And no matter how much I earned, no matter how many times I'd stopped gambling by going to the therapies, just life just always seemed dark and negative and hard. And people used to think that I was so happy and so gregarious, such a personality, but it really was a mask. And there was different masks for different situations. And I would take that mask off, put that one on, take that one to fit in as part of the survival until I discovered, you know, what, why, where that all turned. And I was 37 when I discovered self-discovery and seeing something for myself. Huge, like it was huge breakthrough. And then that's so the last 16 years has been that self-discovery, and it keeps unfolding, and it's gorgeous. It's I am not the same person that I was then, and I love it when people say, "God, you've changed," and I went, "I am so glad to hear that." instead of
Exactly.
people instead of people saying, and me going, "What do you mean I've changed? What do you mean? What do you mean I've changed?" Oh, well, thank you. I'm so glad you've noticed that I've changed.
And you mentioned that at 37, you
Hmm.
started that journey of self-discovery.
Hmm.
Do you remember the moment? What was the trigger or the
Oh,
situation?
yeah. Well, so I had no knowledge of the self-discovery. Someone said to me, "I am doing a course over a weekend that is supposed to turn your life around." And I went, "Wow, what would that be like?" So I traveled to Dublin. I went, "Yeah." So it was 1 week before the course started. And I went, "I would love to do it. Can I do it?" And I contacted the people to register. They were like, "What do you want out of life?" And I was like, "Well, what are you offering?" Right. And that's how much my mind was. "Well, what are you offering? Like, what are you going to give me?" And I said, "No, no, no, you can have, you can have, you can have." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." But I went to do the course. And this is really profound for me, Carla, because this is really what happened. So for 20 years, so since I was 16, I had been resenting my mum. Right. So, and I didn't even know it. Well, I didn't know I was resenting her. So I wouldn't give her a kiss and I wouldn't give her a hug for nearly 20 years because it was all out there. I was always blaming other people about what was going on with me. And on the very, very first day of that course, someone got up and started to share about the relationship with their mother. And I thought, "Oh, that's the same mother I have. I get you. That's the same mother I have." And this went on for 45 minutes. And then the person who was leading the course said, okay, great. So once the person put out all the vomit about their mum, and I could so relate to it, and the question then came, okay, great. I want to ask you a question. What was life like for your mum? And I sat in that very moment going, oh my God, I've never considered the life that she had with my father, the beatings, the alcohol, etc., the survival. It was because then I'd realized all of my life, it was always about me, and just the noise constantly going on in my head. And that moment, it was so profound. So whenever I telephoned my mum, and this always gets me kind of moved, so that's why I was saying the feminine side will come out. But whenever I telephoned my mum, I was 37 years of age, and I telephoned her from Dublin to the hotel, and I says, Mum, I'm doing this course, life course. All right, son, right. I guess I want to ask you, what was life like for you? She says, you've never asked me that before. And I says, I know. And she says, son, and she told me about her life. She told me about having to go to money lenders to borrow money, to buy toys, to buy this, because father was gone. That was it. There was no life, no visitations, no nothing, no contribution. And in that moment, I then says to her, okay, what was your dad like? And she said, what do you mean? And I said, what was your dad like to you? And I remember I'm 37 years of age. She says, I never had a father, son. My dad died when I was born. And I just broke down crying. And it still really impacts me, Carla, because when I knew nothing about this woman as my mother, nothing, because my whole life has been my addiction. And so, in the addiction, and blaming others for my addiction and for the life that I have. And I told my mum about my resentment. And again, this is perfect. It leads up to the perception was I thought you didn't love me because you always asked about my other brothers. And she said, I've always loved all of you equally. The reason I was scared was because I thought you'd lost so much gambling, and I was just scared to approach and have a conversation with you in case you snapped, because that was my personality then. And in that moment was just pure love, profound love to my, like a complete reconnection with my mum, which has lasted. And 2 years after that, my mum took a massive stroke and can no longer communicate. But we had such a profound connection, Carla, that it really was. And I sit with my mum, the boys take rotations to let my stepdad go for a beer because he looks after her. And I get to sit once a week with a complete giant of a woman who done the most incredible job raising 4 boys on her own. And sorry, I have to. This was not expected part of this conversation. Sorry.
And thank you for being vulnerable and sharing with us. It's really powerful. I was just getting goosebumps.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't expecting that. That's not part of the conversation. Sorry, but go ahead. Yes, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And that's that. From that, just if you can imagine getting that, and then I looked at my ex-wife. What was it like for her living with a compulsive gambler? And then my relationship with my brothers, and everything just started to open just by taking that first step.
Exactly.
Just the first step. Oh my goodness.
Impact.
And I tell people now, but the same course, and still, I've been doing it for 15 years. I continuously to go deeper. But I say to people, do you want to change? Oh, I want change, but they're not willing to take the step
To take the first step.
They're really not. And that's why us coaches are there to facilitate, to help you grow and to see, we can see things that you can't. But take the first step. Please take the first step, because life is just
too short.
Well, it's what unfolds. It's just what keeps opening up. At the minute we're, and unless you're growing, you're contracting, and that's why a lot of people are miserable, no matter what's happening. And the new coffee table doesn't work. The new watch doesn't work. The new diamond ring doesn't make you happy, because we're contracted. But unless we're expanding who we are, the universe is always expanding, and inside of that, we're part of the universe. We have to expand, and from that expanding, there's times, and I'm sure you can relate to this, there's times that what we're doing is very, very tough, because we've got our lives and it's like it's not working, but we've a greater why. We've such a greater why to make a difference to people that it pulls us forward. So unless we're expanding, we're contracting.
And the name of your business is A Gift Within.
Mm-hmm.
So let's let's explore a bit more, because it's within us, each one
Yes.
of us.
Yes.
And you do believe, I believe that you believe that, right? But I see from myself as well, and my experience, and those all the women I work with, it's it's hard to go inside.
Uh-huh.
It's really hard, right, to go inside and get that passion, inspiration, the why.
Okay. And it's so brilliant because you lead up to this. So a gift within, we all have a gift within, right? However, how do we access that very thing? And this is where, whenever I stepped into it, things will be shown to you. So are you ready for it? A gift within. A-G-I-F-T. A gift within. So how do we turn this around? Affirmations. Affirmations reprogram the deep rooted belief, the trauma that I was carrying. Affirmations can overturn that. G, gratitude. Every day you get up, you give
Mm.
gratitude for every single thing that you've got. Even this gorgeous cup of coffee, not like your
Yeah.
coffee, but it's my coffee, and I'm gratitude that I can make a coffee. So that's the G. The I is, what is your intention? So my intention is to inspire passion and belief in people's working lives.
Mm.
Right? So that's the I. You have an intention, Carla. Even as a mother, you have an intention as a mother, as a worker. So we've multiple intentions, but it's that intention that really sets us up. It's like, that's it. This is it. And you feel your whole body completely, your whole physiology just change in that moment. So that's the I. Okay, so we've now got A, the G, and the I. The
GI.
F is our feelings. So what
Mm.
is our
Mm.
feelings? So when we have our feelings, it's that gut feeling. You get that gut feeling. That's our sixth sense. It's telling
Six.
us. It's whenever you go, your head's going, doesn't feel right. I don't like this person. Don't trust this person. But your body, mind is like vibrating, like this is the person. This is the person. Go for it, or the opposite of that. Trust your intuition. So your feelings are letting you know exactly where you are, if you're on the right path or you're not on the right path. And just a slight change of something can just get the feeling back up again. So that's the F. And the T is our thoughts. So we have
Mm.
total control of our thoughts. People say, oh, no, no. You stop. Imagination. But beforehand, I used to think, oh, there's another bill, there's this, oh, I can't cope. So it was all of that drama and trauma where I can get step back and go, what would it look like? So whenever I won the car recently, it was a lot of, oh, I'm driving that car. I can smell the car. Oh, wow. I mean, and then I went to the car showroom to sit in a car, pretended I was getting a lot of money. And the person, do you want to buy it? Not just yet. And I was sitting to taking the smells of the leather to really get my imagination going. And then shortly afterwards, I won the car, right? So that's your thoughts, but we have thoughts again with our perception. It's not like that. Okay, let's
Yeah.
stop. Let's have a think. What are we going to life? So remember, so we've got affirmations, gratitude, intentions, feelings, and thoughts. A gift. None of them we have to buy.
No.
None of them. So there's nothing like out there, you have to buy this off the shelf. You were born with all of this. We just get lost. We just get lost in our story and our victim mode. Whenever we were just like, oh, my father was an alcoholic, therefore I have an addiction, or my mother or my father beat me, or my father left. So what? Everything that happened in your life to this very point happened for you,
For
not
you.
to you.
100%. 100% is what I feel in terms of when I speak with people and I work with people, is that we always find an excuse that is happening, or it's life. And we don't make enough effort or commitment to ourselves, because it's not for others. It will impact others as well, but it's that commitment that we need to have with ourselves to get that gift we have inside out to the world.
Yes.
And it's it's challenging for people to have that commitment, because it's I find, and even myself, I need to constantly remind myself that I need to do this every day. I need to be grateful every day. I need to be mindful of my thoughts every day, of my feelings every day. And to me, this has been the difficult part to grasp and to continue. But once you start to do it, and we are the proof of that, once we start to commit and do it every day, we will see the changes.
Oh
We will
yes,
see it.
yeah, yeah. Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. You know, just recently, like last week, and it wasn't. I was in a conversation in a pub with a person who called another person over. Says, "You want to talk to this guy?" So the person come over. I don't believe in all of this. I don't believe in that. He says, "I'm not here to prove to you whether you believe it or not."
Yeah,
And he says, "But I can tell you." And this man was about 42, 43. And I said, "But do you have something inside you?" "No, no, I've got a great job and I love my job." And I went, "Perfect. I'm so glad. But it's not why you were on this earth for." And he says, "No, what do you mean?" And I said, "What is the thing that you are so, so passionate about that you could just get lost in it for hours on end?" And really, I'm just there. And he says, "I do love art." And I said, "And I bet you're very good at art." He goes, "Yeah, I'm pretty good." And I says, "But I bet you also have the thought that nobody would be interested. You couldn't sell it. You wouldn't make money out of it, etc., etc." And he goes, "Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, that's exactly the thoughts I'm having." And I says, "There's 7.5 billion people on this planet, and not
not,
one
yeah,
percent of those people are really interested in your art and will see it value for money to buy your art." And this guy, I'm blown away. Start to live the passion. Let it come up. But some people get to 50, 60, and they 70 and 80, Carla, and I'm sure you'll deal with these kinds. It's too late. They think it's too late.
yeah.
Yeah, they just go,
Eh,
"I wish I had of," and I wish, not Bonnie Ware, the palliative nurse who ease people out of the end of their life care. Beautiful book, and the top 10 reasons, sorry, top 10 wishes for people before they die. And I wish I could have, and I wish, have a look now before it's too late. And you've no idea just by taking that first step where it plays, where it leaves you. It's just incredible. So you're right.
yeah, it's never too late, and we are both proof of that. And yeah, I've started a lot of things in my life, what people would say late, but I'm still doing it, and I will continue to do it, because it's true. We need to continue to grow and to
Yes.
flourish in life and see what unfolds. And I truly believe that
And
wonderful
it
days
can
are
be
still
scary,
ahead of
can't it?
us.
But can't it be
Yeah.
scary? But it's so exciting. It's so better than the deadness that I was experiencing when I was earning quite a bit of money, what I was doing. This is just, it's so more exhilarating and scary because it's just, you've no idea what's going to show up, what's going to happen tomorrow, the next day, or the phone call, or the letter. You're like, "This is unbelievable. Look at this letter. Look at this
Yeah.
letter. I cannot believe," like out of nowhere. It's
Yeah.
just great. The universe will provide.
Yeah, and it's beautiful as well to see that you can help and impact other people's lives as well. Um, and we the world is, as we see, so much sadness and darkness and awful things happening, that just being able to give something good and see something good, some light around us, I think
Yeah.
that's very
Yeah.
powerful as well. And if we can help just one
Well, it's
person.
not if we can help, we can help. We see things
Yeah.
that, that's what it's in our hearts and our nature. It's why we're here. It is our why. And from your why, you will attract the people that you will just connect with because this is the person that the universe has put you with to show you the way forward. And that's why your clients will feel so amazing as my clients feel amazing because it was purposely put together that way for us to show people how
Exactly.
to do it. And we take our stories and our experiences forward with those, and we still deal with our own life.
And we have our own life, yeah,
We have our
our
own
own
lives and
challenges.
things. Yes, and how it occurs to us. I have a coach. You have a coach, I'm sure,
Yeah,
but my coach does because he has to change my perception because how it occurs to me,
yeah,
and it's so stuck and it's so rigid. And but Paul, have you thought of this? No, I didn't think of that. Mind blown, new path, and
yeah,
we're free. We're freed up. We're freed up, and it's done so quickly. We don't have to continue forward in life, taking pills and because here's what happened, and but that's your perception of what happened. No, but it is what happened, Paul. It really is what happened. No, it's really just your interpretation of what happened. What about that? Oh my
yeah,
God, do you know I've been like this for 3 years? I mean, yeah, yeah, I can understand.
yeah.
Now you want to go and connect with that person again because you got it all wrong.
Exactly. It's rebuilding again, rebuilding relationships.
Yeah, totally. And and at the said of the part, like honestly, it's like my mum. At times, like, Mum, I am
Yeah.
so sorry. I have been resenting you for 20 years. Wasn't like because you. It was like I am so sorry. She says, "Is that why you wouldn't give your mummy a wee kiss or a hug?" And I says, "Mummy, I'm
Oh,
so
oh,
sorry. I was so stuck in here." And then, like, to get a mother's love back, and a mother and son, or a mother and child, and
yeah,
some of my clients are dealing with that at the moment, and they're like, "But what if?" And I went, that's just more what it could happen. Just
yeah.
take the action, take the step, and see what happens. It's gorgeous.
Paul, I'm loving our conversation, but we are almost, well, actually, we've been, yeah, half an hour is gone so
Oh wow.
quickly. So, two last questions for you
Mhm.
to inspire our audience. What advice would you give to your younger self? For example, your 13, 16-year-old boy.
Okay. Love that question. If I could go back in time, I'd say, Paul, trust yourself. Just trust yourself, believe in yourself, and take the step. Anytime you feel it, don't stay put. Just keep going. It's going to be super exciting.
Oh,
That's the
that's
first one.
lovely. I love it. And now, you shared so many fabulous insights, but you are always saying, take the first step, take the first step. So, what would you recommend as the first step for our audience to take today after this,
I
either watching
okay.
the live or the replay?
Okay. So the first step that I would take is don't think about what you don't want. Think about what you do want. Okay. And who you are inside of that. So once you get that, who would you be? So it's all about being. So an affirmation is amazing. People say, "Why I take an affirmation every day, different ones." I don't believe in that because we've got a program that we need to really get deep inside. So inside the subconscious, going to be very quick. Subconscious only works in the now. There's no past, there's no future. It's just the now. And when you command it from the now, it will change things, it will change perception, change the occurrence of the world, and you start to see things that start to match that. So it's, and bring gratitude into it. So I'm happy, so happy, grateful, and thankful. Now that I am confident, joyful, and love. And just keep going. Not maybe they're just three things just off the top. With my clients, I'm getting very specific with them for what it is and say that. And you keep doing that, and it's so subtle. You will see changes. You'll go into somewhere where you were never confident, and all of a sudden you're very confident, and then people will like, "I am, aren't I?" Like it's so subtle, but so beautiful. Affirmations every single time, and keep going. First thing in the morning, last thing at night, and do it for maybe a minimum of 2 weeks. Absolutely, keep going until you see the change, and it will happen.
I love that. But let me ask you something. And what would you say for those that are listening to us and say that affirmations are woo woo, I don't believe? What would you say to them?
Have a look at your life right now. What hasn't been working? And have you tried them and really tried them to prove me wrong or to prove it wrong? People who go, oh, they're woo woo, haven't stuck with it. They want a plaster, stick a plaster on and to work right away. You give it time,
Quick fix.
water the plant, just keep watering the plant, and it eventually what happens, it'll break through the soil, and you've got this gorgeous rose, but you've got to water it, and the watering it is you giving the affirmation to your subconscious mind, because it runs 95% of your life.
Yeah.
And that's another
True.
conversation for another time.
That's a different, yeah, that's a different, just one another conversation for us. It's true. This is not a quick fix. Again, everything comes to putting the effort and the commitment. Paul, thank you very much. I love the conversation. Thank you all that joined us live or in the replay. If you have any questions for us, please just put it in the comments. I will put in the comments as well a link if you want to reach out to Paul anytime. So thank you, Paul. It was lovely to have you.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor, Carla. Thank you. And good luck, everyone. Remember, take the first step. It will make the most profound difference in your life. It doesn't have to be the way it is.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye. Bye, everyone.